there.
Hey, we are back again with another delicious, low-carb, gluten-free episode of the Brohio podcast.
Yeah, I'm in Phoenix, Arizona right now, and Rob's in Dayton, Ohio.
Yeah, if you notice the sadness in my voice, it's because I'm not staring at Nick this week. Well, we kind of are, but through video chat. So
it kind of made me think. You said it's gluten-free, and that's not really a thing in Ohio. We're just all fucking fat, and we smell like meatballs. And I'm out here in Phoenix, and everyone's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna need that gluten-free. Can I get that pizza gluten-free?" I'm like, "What the fuck is that?
Gluten.
What is that?" And I had to ask my wife. I'm like, what does gluten-free mean? She's like, it means you're allergic to wheat. You have a wheat allergy.
People these days.
And I want you to think back when we were in school. There were never kids that were allergic to all this shit. They just...
Nope.
If there was a kid and he was allergic to peanuts, you know what? He didn't eat peanuts.
Yeah. The Mother Nature had a fun way of weeding out the weak.
Yeah. If you eat
it's called death.
You eat the Reese cups, you die. It's pretty simple.
Yeah. Pretty simple. Well, this week on the old agenda, we have a lot of fun medical fuck-ups, if you will.
Yeah, kind of when we find ourselves in these situations where we're thousands of miles away from one another and we have to do it via this garbage right here, we kind of do something we call a throwaway episode. We kind of do like a list. Yep. But we didn't really have to do that this weekend because our research helpers, Julie and Courtney, they fucking killed it, man.
Hit a grand slam for us.
They loaded us down.
So we appreciate that. Let us do our thing. Of course, like we said, we're Nick's with family there and out in the desert. I'm freezing and getting rained on in here in Ohio, and it's a glorious time to be alive.
They loaded us down like I load my shorts down in the morning. Like, I did get some very good advice from my father-in-law while I was here, though. He doesn't speak very often, but when he does, it's just wonderful nuggets of wisdom. And he said, I only shit my pants he said, I only wipe my ass when I shit my pants on purpose.
Okay.
Or no. Hold on a second. He said, I only shit my pants. I can't even get this right. He said, I only wipe my ass when I shit on purpose. There we go.
Okay. You gotta let the sharks go.
I only wipe my ass when I shit on purpose. Is that not fantastic?
Well,
is that not fantastic words to live by, or what?
It's unflawed logic.
And another thing, we're kind of back to our old recording situation. Rob is with his demon children. I'm locked in my sister-in-law's bedroom and her desk, and she's got a vape machine sitting right here, and I've hit it about 5 times.
Yeah.
I've never really vaped. I've never vaped before. But I can feel my asshole opening up a little bit every time I hit it.
I do, depending on if there's anybody around me that I'm almost certain doesn't have herpes. I'll be like, yeah, what do you got going on in there?
Let me taste that.
Like, I got blueberry cobbler. I'm like, put that fucker in my mouth.
I got Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Oh, fuck it. Let me get my lips on that shit right quick.
Got Lucky Charms marshmallows in here.
I don't know what she has. It tastes like fucking Aunt Jemima's asshole, though. It tastes pretty delicious. I know that.
Ooh, that's pretty good. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Sign me up.
Just eating her out.
Steal that.
What do you do for fun? I eat ass.
Put that thing in your suitcase. Bring that back here for me.
And if you guys are listening and you like us, send us a review on iTunes.
Please, we're begging you.
We're on the iTunes. We're on the Stitcher. We're on the Google Play Music. We're everywhere. But we need your iTunes reviews.
Yeah, that helps out tremendously.
So if
it puts us on the front page and makes us look good to everybody else.
Makes Ohio stand out like a fucking obliterated wiener.
Ooh, yeah.
Like a Hitler dick.
Oh, that poor thing.
Yeah. So, yeah, if you're ready, I'll let you start here. I know we got some pretty crazy stuff to tell these people about.
Yeah, we do. And there's talking about crazy medical treatments. I think the perfect place to start was with STDs, everybody's favorite.
You had to go there.
Speaking of herpes and vaping.
You know, every time I wear
let's go with.
I wear a tight pair of jeans and it makes like a raw spot on my wiener if they're really tight. So then for the next 4 days, I think I have syphilis, but it never pans out. It's just like a mild yeast infection from really tight jeans.
You're just like, oh man.
That's why
finally.
I try and tell, anytime I see a guy in skinny jeans, I'm like, hey bro, you know, those skinny jeans, they can cause yeast infections. They can make your yeast flare up. Cause some issues down there.
I don't even want to imagine what that would be like for a guy.
I just wear my Levi dungarees, whatever.
Dungaroos that keep them boot cuts nice and tight, nice and crisp.
With my Doc Martens.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
I still own a pair of Doc Martens.
Do you? Nice. I don't think I ever have.
My wife gets really upset when I wear them, though. She's like, what are we doing, a fucking chorus concert in 8th grade? Take those stupid things off.
Like, that's getting sexy now. So let's start with the ancient treatments for STDs. Now, Egyptians believed that demons were causing this illness. Demons causing STDs. Now, instructions found in papyrus shows that they would use sandal oil to soothe a urethral infection.
Oh yeah, you just rub some sandals on it.
Yeah, just rub some sandals on your cock. You're good.
Just take your Jerusalem cruisers off and vigorously rub your sack, and it's all going to go away.
There were other options to treat genital problems, such as a variety of different salves, ointments made with herbs, garlic, just for taste.
That sounds delicious. Sounds like some cheesy bread.
A little tinge of powdered cow horn. What the fuck? Oh gosh.
I don't know what powdered cow horn feels like, but if you're shoving it in your dick hole, I know it doesn't feel good.
Yeah, it can't. It's like fine grained sandpaper. Oh. Now, the Greeks and the Romans, let's get to these people.
They were dickheads, for sure.
The physician Solanus, it's Solanus, if you're curious. Solanus of Ephesus took the general view that anybody that had got itself infected with an STD was clearly physically weak and needed building up. So what he recommended was that anybody with gonorrhea, which he thought was brought on by an excess of semen or fluid.
I'm all backed up, baby. I need to pop this on you real quick.
Yes, so anybody that's completely backed up, which obviously, that's what they thought gonorrhea was, would have lead weights strapped to their body to help their recovery.
Because they're weak.
That sounds fun.
It's because they're weak.
Yeah. Records of herpes infections date as far back as ancient Greece, and nobody has taken as dim or a painful a view of the resulting ulcers than the Roman medical author Aulus Cornelius Celsus.
Why do they give us these hard words for? They know we're just going to fucking butcher it.
That's a good, solid Greek name. His idea? Well, of course, all you need to do is just cauterize all the sores with the hot iron.
God. Isn't that where you just set it on fire?
Yeah, you're pretty much just setting an iron on fire till it's like glowing red, and then pressing it against the sores.
I know just what to do with this herp derp right here. We're gonna burn it. We're gonna burn it till it falls off.
Yeah, why not? You just close them sores up, and you're good to go.
I oftentimes wonder, anytime I get my little scratchy down there, if it's something that I could take off with a razor. Most times it's not, but you just gotta watch where you're dragging your sack when you're shitting inside Walmart.
Let me know how that works out for you. Now, before we knew mercury was poisonous to humans, it was the most widespread treatment of syphilis. Now, health effects of mercury exposure, elemental and methyl mercury are toxic to the central and peripheral nervous systems. Duh. Now, the inhalation of mercury vapors can produce harmful effects on the nervous, digestive, and immune system, lungs, and kidneys, and may be fatal.
That sounds fine.
That's why you don't drink mercury thermometers.
Not a big deal. And if you're worried about dying, I would instruct you to look into maybe one of our Shadow People episodes, or just one of our spoopier episodes, so you can learn about what's going to happen when you die.
Yeah, exactly. You got that to look forward to. Now, in the 1200s in Italy, it was thought that if you were suffering, you would have leeches attached to you for bleeding, or you'd go through what professors delicately called urethral irrigation. So that's a process that involved an unsterilized instrument going into the urethra without any pain relief.
My God.
So you're taking just a medical probe right in your cock hole.
What I want people to understand, we have a lot of female listeners and we have a lot of male listeners, but that skin just inside your pee hole is the most sensitive area in the entire world.
Yeah, I was thinking, I was actually just talking to my wife about this the other day because she had to get a catheter whenever she was pregnant.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's very common.
And yeah, and I was thinking about that because I always think about how bad a catheter would suck for a guy, but for a girl, for female, it has to be even worse.
Yeah,
like
that pee hole.
Women
really
just have it. Women have it all wrong. They're poor things.
It's not fair.
No, it's really not.
That period thing, I'm like, I try and be sympathetic to my wife, but that period thing, they really struck out on that. That's not fair at all.
Pooping out babies.
Yeah.
All that stuff, that's why their pain tolerance is way higher than mine. I get a scratch and I'm crying for 3 days.
Yeah, I drag that pee hole across my zipper and I'm shutting it down for a week.
Oh no. It's the worst.
For a week. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Get your sack caught in there too. On a hot day, it's the worst thing ever. Now, in medieval Europe, we're going to go over to Europa. Most doctors believed in order to cure STDs that you had to be covered in sweating cloths, which were strips of cloth that are covered in a liquid that contains lead. So if you aren't sure what that means, that's pretty much they're putting something super heavy where your skin can't breathe on you, and then you're just sweating out your ass.
They're just pretty much fucking smothering your body.
Exactly. Yeah, you're taking all precautions to make sure your body doesn't cool down the way that it needs to be.
Killing you softly.
The Renaissance period believed that there was a virgin cure.
I'm all ears now. You said virgins.
The idea you could get rid of a sexually transmitted disease by having sex with a virgin.
Jesus.
Poor things. Now, why? Well, because their chastity made them resistant to STDs. Because, they've never had sex, so the fact that they have never had it, they can't get an STD. It'll clear you up.
Donna. Donna, come in here.
It's like
it's my
two
buddy,
negatives make a positive.
my buddy Al down the street. I know you got ballet later today, but when you're done, my buddy down the street, Al, yeah, he's gonna fuck you, and because he's got some stuff going on with his wife right now, some shit that he needs to get rid of. He's gonna fuck you, and it's gonna fix you.
You'll be just fine. Now, old France. So now this also tells you a story of why gonorrhea is known as the clap.
You must clap your wee to make it stop bleeding. If you don't understand what I'm saying.
And I actually know this. I've heard this story before, so this is kind of a crazy story. Now, old treatments for gonorrhea believe that to cure the disease, you would have to take the genitals and smack them hard enough with objects. Sometimes they used books or others, just solid objects, to break up the sores to make the pus leave your body.
Christ almighty.
So
just fucking kill me.
And this is the note here. Must have been a Bible thumping of a good time. That's
those are Julie's words.
That's too good. I love it.
Oh my
because
God.
Everybody had Bibles, so that was a common use of a Bible was to smack your dick with it a couple times
after you're done
and just let the pus.
After you're done sinning.
Yeah, I guess technically you probably would have to sin in order to.
No doubt.
Unless you just had a fun wife.
Unless you, yeah, super fun wife. But I think you can get that stuff from fucking cows and chickens and shit too. So.
Ah, okay.
I don't know though.
That sounds fun.
I'm in Mexico right now, and I've seen a lot of crazy stuff. So. I mean, I'm not really.
I'll take your word for it.
I'm not really in Mexico, but I'm kind of in Mexico. If you get what I'm saying.
I definitely get what you're saying.
I went to the mall. I went to the mall, and nothing is in English. It's all Spanish, and I'm in America, bud. I'm in America.
Yeah.
That's what I'm dealing with right now.
Well, I'm sorry.
So to piggyback off of your STD stuff here, I'm going to go with the Guatemalan STD study.
My STD stuff.
I'm going to piggyback off your
off my STDs.
Off your herpes here. And anytime you involve Guatemala, There's some fucking like backwoods third world nation shit going down for sure.
You're gonna have some nice discounted stuff going
on. And we've spoke about the Tuskegee study in one of our prior episodes, but I think we're going to hit on it briefly for this one. The Guatemalan STD study, this is where the U.S. government intentionally infected vulnerable populations with STDs in Guatemala. And you think, why would the U.S. government do something like that? Well, they did.
Why?
And they do. And we've had a lot of people reach out to us about doing an episode on the CDC, which we're going to do. And you guys are going to learn a lot of stuff about how fucked up of a government agency that is and what they are willing to do for absolutely
a big old
nothing.
Shitstorm.
Yeah. This was a 2-year study from 1946 to 1948, and it involved roughly 1,500 study subjects. It was done with the knowledge of Dr. Cutler's superiors and was funded by a grant from the U.S. National Institutes of Health to the Pan American Sanitary Bureau. If that doesn't sound like a fucking mouthful of cock, I don't know what does. But that would later become the Pan American Health Organization, as you know, we've all heard of that. So, the study has officially never been published. Imagine that. The initial intent of the study was to look for new STD prevention, including gonorrhea, and also an STD by the name of cancroid.
Oh,
that sounds like a kraken, like a kraken crawling out of your dick.
Yeah,
I can't go out tonight. I got the cancroid. If I can pass him before 8:00, I'll probably come out. And cancroid is a bacterial STD which is characterized by painful, necrotizing genital ulcers and sometimes swollen groin lymph nodes. It's highly contagious, but curable. And it also,
at least it's curable.
This study was also geared towards the good old, the old steady syphilis. You can never go wrong with syphilis. The first experiments involved infecting female sex workers with gonorrhea and syphilis, then following them and they would follow them to watch them have unprotected sex with soldiers or prison inmates.
Pervs. How
exactly do you get someone to sign up for willingly accepting a venereal disease? And
I'm gonna, hey buddy, I know you're fighting for our freedom, but I'm gonna need you to sit over here with this hooker and we're going to see what this STD does to you. And we're going to watch.
Right. But how did they initially get the disease in the first place? Did they inject these people? Was there, there's children that are raised from the time they're born to become like samurai warriors. Are there children raised from the beginning to just be carriers of gonorrhea and syphilis? I don't know.
That's their only goal.
That's the truths that Brohio is trying to uncover for all of you. When
we need to know. These are the questions we need answered.
When a few of the men became infected, the researchers began to directly inoculate the soldiers, prisoners, and then began to include the mental health patients, which is completely awesome. They were using the people that were shacked up in the mental hospitals to infect them as well.
Cool.
That's fine. I'm not. Take them, not the soldiers.
This poor people go through enough.
Oh yeah, it really is. And anytime we do a lot of paranormal episodes, and there is no end to the amount of like mental health hospitals that are just completely haunted because all the misery that those people go through in their life. So we'll save that for another one. The gonorrhea was transmitted by inoculations into the urethra. The cancroid was inoculated by skin infections. And syphilis was inoculated by a variety of means, including skin injections, including exposing the foreskin of the penis to the infectious materials.
Just stay there. I'm going to rub this vial of viruses on your dick skin.
Hey, buddy, I'm going to need you to pinch the tip and roll that down. And when you get that skin all the way down, I'm going to rub some of this here cream on there, and then you're going to get your $7 and your Jack in the Box when you walk out the door, if that's okay.
Sounds like a deal. Sign me up.
Yeah, I'm definitely all down for that. institution officials were aware of the study, but the subjects were not informed of the purpose of the study and never were. But the thing was, they weren't able to provide consent, which so they were practically raped. We like to talk about rape on Brohio. And speaking of rape, I haven't talked to you about this, but with everyone in Hollywood that's been touched recently, I just want to make sure you're not a victim and make sure there's nothing that you need to talk about.
I appreciate you asking.
Yeah.
To my recollection, I think I'm good.
I'm reading about all these. I'm hearing about all these stories. If you did not know that these people in Hollywood were not scumballs before all these stories started, you must have had your head under a fucking rock.
Oh yeah, Corey Feldman's been saying this shit for years.
Listen, I care very much for women because I have 3 daughters and a wonderful wife.
Oh yeah.
And I did not realize the multitude of issues that they were facing in the workplace because they're just afraid to speak up.
Yeah, it's sad.
And it makes me want to take a fucking handful of gonorrhea and just sit in the bathroom, just curl up in a urinal, and anytime I see a bare wiener, just rub gonorrhea on it. Just fucking smear it on there.
Just a big oozing pile of gonorrhea.
But then I saw the guy from Terry Crews, the fucking mutant X-Men actor, just a very large man that could probably
big,
kill
beautiful
all this
man.
woman. Yeah. He said that one of the Hollywood executives just walked up and grabbed a handful of his dick.
Yeah.
And he says he was one of the ones. But then I also thought to myself, maybe he did a lot of sexual groping himself, and he's just trying to jump out in front of it right now, kind of like Kevin Spacey, how he came out and said that, oh, I might have touched some boys, but I'm going to be gay from now on. Like, that makes it okay. Makes it okay, Kevin.
They got Louis C.K. wrapped up too.
Oh yeah, and
he's just whacking it in front of everybody.
Yeah. Hey, you want to see my dick? And that's a thing in prison too. Like every single day, the nurses would walk down and hand out pills, and these guys would just whip their wieners out and just start going to town. And there were guys like me in the prison system that would slam their wieners shut in the food flap and spit on them and stuff like that.
Those food flaps are steel too. That's not
not before I sucked them though. I definitely wasn't doing that. If you know what I mean. All right. So back to the task at hand here. At a minimum, one patient died during the experiment, but it is unclear what the death was from, as the experimentation or the underlying medical problems they weren't very forthcoming with all of it. Only
one death. That's so worth it.
That's pretty good. We found a lot about how your balls can be adversely affected by syphagana herpes
by just rubbing STDs all over your foreskin.
Yeah.
Who would have known?
There's also an inadequate number of sex workers who were treated. So they infected them, but they didn't fucking fix them. That
Poor
seems
people.
Fair. Yeah. These are fairly new findings, as in 2010, President Obama apologized to the Guatemalan President Alvaro Colom and the people affected, expressing the United States' commitment to the ethical and legal conduct of contemporary human medical studies.
This happened back in the 40s, but we're just now finding out about it.
So, yeah, for all you motherfucking Obama haters, here he is, just laying it all out there, apologizing for all of America's transgressions to Guatemala right here. So get with the fucking program, okay?
Jeez.
The Guatemalan government issues a separate report titled, "To Agree to the Harm, Medical Experiments by the United States and Guatemala." What a fucking name. And that's in quotations, too. And this went beyond the U.S. reports to state that the experiments were a crime against humanity and that the racism and discrimination were present through the experiments in an explicit and conscious way. So Guatemala is saying that America knew exactly what they were doing.
Dun, dun, dun.
Never.
How dare they?
Yeah. In the spring of 2012, the case against the United States government was considered by a federal district court as a class action lawsuit brought on behalf of the Guatemalan victims and their survivors. The court dismissed the case on the grounds of sovereign immunity. I don't even know what the fuck that means, but it sounds like, they're America, they can do whatever they want. However, on January 10th, 2012, just one day after the Justice Department moved to dismiss the case, the Department of Health and Human Services announced funding for approximately $1.8 million to improve treatment and prevention of HIV and other STDs in Guatemala and to further strengthen ethical training on human research projects.
$1.8 million for that is not a lot of money.
just the fact there's stuff out there called human research projects is completely awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty fun stuff right there.
Yeah, so let's hop back over to our other notes here.
Tobacco enemas.
You text me about this one. Like,
yeah, I saw this one. Tobacco.
I saw a whole lot of tobacco enemas in the prison. They were just rampant, because you have to make guys squat and cough all the time, and then a fucking 3 cigarettes shoot out like an old turd. And you're like, hey, we're gonna smoke those or what?
Yeah, that's a very, very common practice. How else are you gonna smuggle your tobacco in? You gotta stick it up your pooper.
Like one time, I had a guy come into isolation. He was threatening to kill himself. So they have to do, suicide watch where they get asshole naked and you just stare at him for 24 hours a day.
Yep.
Well, you have to strip search him before you put him in the naked cell. And I strip searched this guy and he squat and coughed and a bag shot out. I'm like, okay. I'm like, hand that to me there, fella. And he handed it to me and it was a fucking bag full of razor blades. This guy had shoved razor blades up his asshole. And I said, do you realize you fucking, what could have happened to you if this bag would not have done its job? He's like, well, I'm trying to kill myself anyway, so it don't matter. I'm like, you're fucking exactly right.
Holy shit.
Exactly right.
That's crazy.
And that's similar to the time that I made a guy squat and cough and a BlackBerry fell out too. That was kind of, I called it a dingleberry.
You mean the phone, not an actual BlackBerry, right?
It was a phone.
It's just one berry that just falls out of his ass.
BlackBerry, the old fucking big keyboard one.
That was from a BlackBerry cobbler I had before I got arrested. Sorry about that mess. It's a dingleberry. Let's go to tobacco enemas. This is the 1700s. The Europeans borrowed the bright idea of tobacco smoke enemas from Native Americans. Now, they believed that good old tobacco enemas could bring drowning victims back to life. And there goes that vape smoke.
I just blew some vape smoke at the screen.
American settlers decided that this would work for any cause of death and started blowing smoke up the asses of deceased friends and family members to bring them back to life.
Could you imagine being a kid, like the son of a single mother, and she wakes up and she says, "Oh, I think I'm going to need your help today with some stuff. Can you run down to the store? I'm going to write you a note, and you go down to the store and pick me up a pack of cigarettes, and then come see me when you get back. Mama needs you to blow some smoke up her asshole."
And that's where...
I'm going to pull down these nice cotton panties, these big old britches, and you're going to blow some smoke up in me.
Just, that brings the whole, I'm not blowing smoke up your ass thing a completely different level.
I guess so. I don't know if those are related at all or not.
Do you want to take the next one on this list? This one looks just as fun.
And thanks to these time machines, we cut it right there for like 24 hours, and now we're back.
We are back.
Yeah.
24-hour hiatus.
And you guys are going to know that because it's the sweetest time machine ever.
Yeah,
we're
not stupid enough to tell you.
And we left off at high-speed amputations, not like high-speed cars or high-speed jerking off. We're talking about high-speed amputations.
Is there any other way to be amputated? If there is, I don't want to.
And I would honestly think that if I had to get something cut off, I would want it to be as fast as possible,
Yeah.
So
yeah, just
in the 1850s, the goal was to amputate your leg from the knee down in under 45 seconds. And it turns out this is actually the best way to do it, is in under 45 seconds. The speed was critical to minimize the risk of shock and infection. Some surgeons became famous for their ability to remove limbs successfully in less than a minute. So,
can you imagine being the guy who's famous for not getting it off?
Yeah,
cutting the limb off in a minute.
Like, I know your insurance says I can get this off in under 30 seconds, but you're looking at about 30 minutes right here, honestly. So,
that's
right about the wheelhouse for the Civil War. And if you go back and look at some of the pictures and read some of the literature from the Civil War, that was a fucking shit show, man.
Oh yeah, there was some fun amputations going on there.
And the best part about all this right now is Rob and I are using Facebook Messenger to talk back and forth, and we're using the filters. And Rob looks like El Diablo from Suicide Squad, and I have a fucking
Squad,
and I have a fucking cat on my head. So it's kind of hard to look at each other.
It's so stupid.
But yeah. Next on our list, we have everybody's favorite lobotomies.
Lobotomies.
I'm gonna let you hit that one.
Oh, okay. So we did a little bit of lobotomy whenever we went over Athens.
Yeah,
we went over lobotomies. We didn't have a lobotomy.
They just no. I've had a lobotomy. They went through the tip of my penis, but I've definitely had one.
The lobotomy, they go through your butt. This gruesome treatment involves, of course, you're jamming a 10-inch long ice pick right into the patient's eye socket, and you're moving it around a little bit, just jiggling around in there, and you're completely destroying the frontal lobe of the brain.
Some people pay a lot of money for 10 inches, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they do. Now, around 15% of patients died, and many others were left in a childlike state.
That doesn't sound so bad.
This treatment was... No. Take me back to when I was like 2. This treatment was used on over 70,000 psychiatric patients up until the 1960s, when people realized that the frontal lobe was pretty important part of your brain, seeing as it controls all your decision-making in your human brain there. All
your ability to reason and not be a fucking idiot. They just wipe it out.
Yeah, that's pretty much where all your controls are.
Yeah. And there's also, in our notes here, we have a section for hole drilling. This was used many thousands of years ago as well. So a long time ago, when people had seizures, it was automatically assumed that they were just fucking, unrepairable. There's nothing that you can do for this person.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then along comes these doctors that start drilling holes. So they would have you lie on the bed, and the doctor would drill a hole in your scalp. And this was often used for migraines, but more often than not used for seizures. So they just cut a huge hole in your scalp through your skull, so then you could just finger your brain. like some people
might as well.
You're talking to someone, they're like, "Oh, sorry, I had a brain fart." Well, you could just like reach in and give it a little fucking pump start. It's like some old Reeboks, just pump it up and let it go.
The old pump up shoes.
Yeah. Okay, I'm fine now. I'm back. I'm back with you. Could you imagine
your brain just
laying there on your couch like a dead shit, and your wife walks up and starts yelling at you, and you just stick your finger in the hole and just like push your brain really hard and make yourself go fucking out of it. Turn yourself into fucking carrot for about 5 seconds.
Carrot.
And I'm fine. I'm back.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I want to be a carrot.
I have a really good hiding spot for a carrot.
Where would that be?
In my pocket, you fucking pervert.
Oh, that's good.
My prison pocket.
That's a good one.
My prison pocket.
Ooh.
So we're going to hop over to the my other set of notes here.
Okay.
From Miss Courtney. We have the Edgewood Aberdeen experiments. Now, Courtney, when we gave her the subject, she was very excited, and I think she has like a fucking doctorate in this shit. So She sent us about 47 pounds worth of information. It broke my email. I got
it's pretty thick.
I got the email and I heard my email address go when it landed. It was just like she launched a fucking brick. So she killed it. But we got the Edgewood Aberdeen experiments, and this was from 1955 through 1975. The U.S. Army Chemical Corps conducted classified medical studies at Edgewood Arsenal in Maryland. This was to evaluate the impact of low-dose chemical warfare agents on military personnel and to test protective clothing and pharmaceuticals. Now, this doesn't seem like that big of a deal. You know, this is stuff they have to know about. You know? I'm looking at Rob. He's got a stupid fucking thing on his face. Jesus Christ.
Oh, gosh. We're losing it.
Roughly 7,000 soldiers took part in these experiments that involved over 250 different types of chemicals. So this seems like they're just dumping bleach in everybody's faces and just seeing what the fuck happens.
250 different types. That's fun.
I know there's not that much stuff in the cleaning aisle at Walmart. There's far less.
Yeah, there's definitely, they had to go to Sam's Club to get all that stuff.
Not without a membership, they didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Some volunteers exhibited certain symptoms at the time of exposure, and long-term follow-ups were not planned as part of the DoD studies. And believe it or not, the DoD, they have a very long track record of doing some really terrible shit.
Uh-oh.
Anytime you have the Department of Defense involved, there's some shit going down. The National Academies of Science reviewed the potential of long-term effects from the experiments and determined they did not find any significant long-term harm except for those exposed to larger doses of mustard agents. I love mustard. I eat a lot of mustard. I had mustard on my burger today.
Yeah, mustard and mustard gas. What's the difference?
I think it might be the same thing.
I think it's pretty much the same.
Gaddafi and Saddam, maybe that's what they were trying to... They thought they were just giving the people mustard and not mustard gas. Maybe they weren't that bad of guys.
Yeah, that's a pretty big historically... historical fuck up there.
They just want to do something nice for the people. They didn't have a lot of money, so we'll give them a bunch of mustard.
Bring your burgers, we'll provide the mustard.
They didn't label the buttons right, and they got the mustard gas, not the mustard.
It's very sad.
It was probably Heinz mustard, not French's either, which makes it that much worse.
It makes it way worse.
Yeah. The NES did publish the results under the title of Possible Long-Term Health Effects of Short-Term Exposure to Chemical Agents. It has 3 volumes, 1982, 84, and 85. In 2004, there was a follow-up report titled Health Effects of Perceived Exposure to Biological Warfare Agents. NES concluded that PTSD could have occurred as a result of the perceived exposure to biochemical warfare agents. I like how they say perceived, like
perceived. Yeah.
We told him we gave it to him, but we didn't really give it to him. It was just a placebo of mustard gas we put in their asshole. They thought they were getting it hard and fast, but they weren't really getting it hard and fast. The Health and Medicine Division, formerly the Institute of Medicine, found that research doesn't show long-term neurological problems from exposure to low levels of sarin. A low level of sarin is an amount that doesn't cause noticeable symptoms during the exposure. The chemicals that were tested were agents such as sarin. Am I saying that right? Sarin gas and common organophosphorus and carbonate pesticides, mustard agents, nerve agent antidotes, atropine and scopolamine, nerve agent reactors like 2-PAM chloride, psychoactive agents such as LSD, PCP, and BZ, irritants and riot control agents, and lastly, alcohol and caffeine. And I said maybe
I was
3 of those words right.
I was sold with LSD, but you got me on BZ.
Yeah. The B
What is BZ?
It sounds like something from a Jay-Z song. H to the
He's just rapping letters.
G to the BZ. Don't y'all got to feel me. I'm not too hip on my Jay-Z.
I think that's how it goes.
I'm not too hip on my Jay-Z.
I think you nailed it.
Yeah.
I want to I think that wraps up that one though, doesn't it?
Yeah, that does. That's another one.
That's fun.
Medical disasters.
Sad.
Let's keep on.
Let's go over to I'm going to jump down a little bit.
Okay.
I want to go to false memory implantation.
Oh yeah.
Because these are other good ones. This is it's a little bit of a lengthy, it's kind of hard to get all the details out, but pretty much it's just another psychological manipulation project. So basically, it's using cognitive psychology to investigate the human memory. So we're gonna go over a little case here, but false memory implantation, for those of you who know, I guess you could say this was this was kind of done in the Hunger Games series.
Good movies.
Yeah, PETA, Tracker Jacker Venom. It'll get you every time.
Gotta watch that shit.
You poor fuck. I was obsessed with the movies and the videos, or in the book. So now, a real famous case is Paul Ingram. Now, Ingram was accused of recurring sexual abuse by his daughters. He denied all allegations at first, but after being interviewed by the police and therapists, he came to remember multiple instances of abuse.
Oh,
now, psychologist Richard Ofshe considered the confession to be a result of suggestive questioning and wanted to test his theory.
And I want to stop you real quick for a second. I know a lot of people, when law enforcement are investigating certain serial killers and whatnot, and certain people related to murder, they oftentimes use polygraph tests. And I think there's a certain disorder where, and if any of you know what this is, you can write us and let us know, but these people believe something so much that in their mind, they eventually convince themselves that it's the truth. So certain people can pass polygraph tests.
Yeah. It's kind of like that with compulsive liars as well.
Yeah.
They'll tell a lie so many times that it pretty much redirects their memory to make them believe that, that's really what happened.
Becomes reality in their mind.
Yeah, exactly. They believe they believe their own lie so much that they completely change history.
And that's the kind of people that Brohio is looking to interview. I want to somehow get a fucking murderer on here, a serial killer, and just interview so we can make fun of him.
I wonder if that guy that's smuggled the cell phone in his ass still listens.
The Dingleberry guy?
The dude that's in prison and the dude that's in prison that listened to us with a smuggled cell phone.
Oh yeah, he's from Ireland.
Yeah.
Ireland.
Hey dude, let us know if you're listening.
It's probably Conor McGregor.
Conor McGregor. All right, let's keep going here. Now, Mr. Ingram, or actually, no, this is Ofshe, made up an incident and presented it to Ingram. Ingram initially could not recall, but later created an entire detailed confession of that account. Now, Ingram's children confirmed that Ofshe's story was in fact made up, thus proving that Ingram was forced to implement a memory of something that never actually happened. So this shows how important it is to have corroborative evidence even when a suspect confesses. Because that's, a confession anymore really isn't, it's not an open and shut case.
No, it's not.
With confessions.
Oftentimes, an immediate confession goes along the lines with, not guilty by reason of insanity. So a lot of these guys will be like, yeah, I did it.
Or people, yeah. Or a lot of the serial killers that want the notoriety.
Yeah, fuck it. I did
They'll
it.
claim, victims that weren't really theirs. Might as well. Fuck it.
Fuck it.
Where do you want to go next?
And I got the monster study here. The monster study was a stuttering experiment performed on 22 orphan children in Davenport, Iowa in 1939. Anytime you got orphan children involved, whoever's in charge kind of cares, but they really don't fucking care at all. So they're kind of trying to use like disposable children.
Exactly.
The children in the study were between the ages of 5 and 15. It was conducted by Wendell Johnson at the University of Iowa, and Mary Tudor conducted the experiment under Johnson's supervision. 11 children received a positive speech therapy, which was the praising the fluency of their speech, while the You and I wouldn't get that, the praising of our fluency. We're definitely not getting
definitely
that
not.
shit. Yeah. While the other 11 were given a negative speech therapy. The negative speech therapy. Yeah, I don't know, and you think who you're talking to, but I try real hard. The negative speech therapy was the belittling of the children's speech imperfections. So these kids with
that's sad.
the kids
Poor
with
kids.
the kids with speech impediments,
Like, hey,
they would just put them down. And
it's an R, stupid.
I'm telling you, I think old people that whistle when they talk like hurt. Get your
Herbert,
fat ass,
the pervert.
Get your fat ass back here, you fat son of a bitch. You boys want some popsicles? I'd really like some popsicles. Where's the paperboy?
That's our nation's treasure.
I think that and people that can't correctly pronounce their R's are national treasures. So,
right.
Anytime I meet someone that can't pronounce their R's very well, I tell them my favorite dog is a Labrador Retriever. And then I ask them, like, I'm going to ask you that later in the day. You tell me what my favorite dog is. And they're like, oh, okay, I'll tell you. I'm like, hey, what's my favorite dog?
Labrador Retriever?
Yeah, Labrador Retriever. You nailed it. You fucking nailed it.
Elmer Fudd.
So some of the children in the experiment didn't actually have a stutter, and though 2 had received negative therapy, and the experiment actually began to stutter. So they
fucking gave the kids a stutter.
They fucked them up, man.
That's fucked up. Like, we notice you don't have a stutter. How would you like to have a stutter?
How are you feeling right now? Really fucking scared? How about that? Those that were given the negative speech therapy did suffer negative psychological effects, and some even retained their speech problem for the rest of their lives.
Oh, gosh.
The biggest reason it's called Monster Study is because the peers of Johnson were absolutely horrified that he would use orphan children as an experiment just to confirm the hypothesis. Oh, God.
They were already sad because they were orphans, and they were already worrying if they were going to get, someone was going to adopt them.
Dude, I don't even. Oh.
Now you're going into an orphanage, and then you got 15 kids in there that either have speech impediments or stutter. It's like, what are you going to do? It's like making a horrible situation even worse.
Yeah. So none of the 22 kids that were involved in the experiment were told the intent of the study, and they were just explained that they were going to be receiving speech therapy.
Oh my gosh.
Tudor was attempting to introduce staring in healthy children and to see whether or not telling stutters that their speech was fine would produce the change. Would produce the change. And included in the subjects, the 22 subjects were 10 orphans to teachers, and they were marked as having a stutter before the study had even began. The students were judged by Tudor and 5 of the graduate students and were graded on a scale from 1 being poor and 5 being fluent. The children were placed into 4 groups. 5 were assigned to group 1A. This is the experimental set, and were told that their speech was fine. Another 5 in group 1B were the control group, and were told their speech is as bad as people say. The remaining 12 children were chosen at random from the population of normally fluent orphans. 6 of these were assigned to a group double 1A, and were told their speech was not normal at all, and they were beginning to stutter, and it must be corrected immediately. The final 6 were in group...
Hey, stupid, why are you so stupid?
And the final 6 were in group double 1B, and were normal speakers who were treated as such and they were given compliments on their speech. The experiment lasted from January until late May 1939. The interactions with the children consisted of Tudor driving to Davenport from Iowa City every few weeks and talking to each child for 45 minutes with an agreed-upon script. One example of the script in group double 1A, this is quote, "The staff has come to the conclusion that you have a great deal of trouble with your speech." This is not my words.
Okay.
This is me reading. And I'm going to have to read this like her then. So, "The staff has come to the conclusion that you have a great deal of trouble with your speech. You have many of the symptoms of a child who is beginning to stutter. You must try to stop yourself immediately. Use your willpower. Do anything to keep from stuttering.
Don't ever speak unless you can do it right.
Oh, shit.
You see how Timmy stutters, don't you? Well, he undoubtedly started this very same way.
So she's guilt tripping them.
Yeah, like,
You don't want to be like Timmy, do you?
if you can't fucking talk right, don't fucking talk at all, you little shit. Sometimes I feel like saying that to my kids. Like, if you don't have anything of fucking significance to say, don't say stuff. Because sometimes kids say really fucked up stuff.
There's speaking of that, we were, well, not me, but my wife was at the store with one of our kids, and there was a overweight man driving one of the little carts.
It wasn't me, was
and
it?
He decides to say, no, it was not you. He decides to say, Mom, look at the fat guy. Look how fat he is. And my wife wanted to kill herself.
Yeah. Along the same lines, we were checking out at Walmart once, and my middle daughter, there was a Hispanic couple in front of us, and they had like a 3-year-old girl, and my daughter pointed, and she's like, "Hey, Daddy, look, it's Dora." I'm like, "No, can't fucking do that."
Oh, kids, they just don't know.
It's it's
so
you're
cute.
gonna do what you can, but all the children involved in this study, all their schoolwork fell off. What the boys began refusing to recite in class, 11-year-old, there was a child by the name of Clarence. He started anxiously correcting himself. Tutor went on to say, he stopped and told me he was going to have trouble on words before he could say them. When I asked him how he knew them, he said that he wouldn't come out because it felt like it was stuck in there. So the kid was afraid to talk. And that's the monster study.
That's so sad.
Yeah. Poor kids.
Yeah.
But they were orphans, so it's okay.
Yeah, that's... Yeah. At least that's the way they saw it. Let's hop over to the next one.
Yeah, we got some fucked up shit here.
Just this title alone is intriguing enough. Yeah. We're going to go to this next one. Title, Crocodile Poop.
Crocodile Poop. I'm all in.
So, crocodile poop. Color me intrigued. So you think condoms are a drag? In ancient Egypt, the contraceptive of choice was crocodile dung.
Crocodile shit.
Now, dried dung was inserted... dried crocodile turds was inserted into the vagina. The idea being that it would soften as it reached body temperature to form an impenetrable barrier.
Oh my God.
Now, other contraceptive pessaries used back in the day included tree sap, lemon halves, cotton, wool, sea sponges, and of course, elephant dung.
The sea sponges seems like it wouldn't be that bad. I would probably give that a try.
Yeah, the lemon halves, he'd come out smelling good.
Could you imagine Steve Irwin hitting on some chick in the bar like, "Oh no, I don't really have any condoms out in my Jeep, but we could really use some crocodile shit. We could cram that in your gash. We could use that."
In your gash.
And next on that list, I'm seeing something called goat testicles.
Yeah, they're just getting funner and funner.
Yeah. So in the early 1900s, John Brinkley became one of the richest doctors in America, despite having no medical qualifications.
He just put the doctor in front of his name.
He's just the guy that shows up like, "I'm your new gynecologist." He claimed he could cure impotence, infertility, and other sexual problems by surgically implanting goat testicles
Oh my gosh.
into a man's scrotum.
Oh my gosh.
The surgery had no scientific merit
Of
and was
course.
extremely dangerous, and many of the patients died.
Oh my gosh. What?
And if you have ever seen the goats on the nuts on a goat before, you would know that whoever got these implants
What?
definitely got an upgrade there in the testicle department.
Why would you think that would be a good idea?
I
don't know.
It is what it is, man.
It is. Well, I guess from there we'll go to Everybody's favorite subject, farts in a jar. Ooh, that was a good one. In the Middle Ages, some doctors believed that like cures like. So
it's like docking.
Yes, it's once again 2 negatives make a positive.
When it's like 2 penises together, and you just roll the foreskin over the other penis.
Yeah,
that's docking.
Yeah, yep. So when confronted by the Black Death, which was thought to be caused by deadly vapors, they were convinced that the key to fighting that disease, Black Death, was to use a bit of therapeutic stink. So what they did is they would urge people to keep goats in their homes, and others recommended storing farts in jars.
Yeah.
Each time that the deadly pestilence appeared in the neighborhood, people were to open the jars and take a big long whiff. So it sounds better. It as funny as it is, the plague's was kind of a serious thing. It was between, looks like 1348 and 1350, it killed 30 to 60% of Europe's population. So obviously they were smelling the wrong farts.
God damn.
Whew.
God damn. Yeah.
30 to 60%.
So I think I'm going to call that the conclusion of this medical disasters episode.
We have a lot more. We could probably do a part 2 sometime in the future.
Yes, and we're going to hold on to part 2, but we are both running dead on our technologies.
Yep.
Running out of batteries.
It's not the same having you right here by my side.
And this is not easy doing it 5,000 miles
holding
away.
My hand. Yeah, holding my hand through this.
And you're probably going to have a fucking god-awful time editing this piece of shit. So
yeah, this is going to be real bad. But it's okay.
Yeah. You guys are worth it.
Be back to normal. Yeah, we'll be back to normal this week.
Yeah. I'm thinking for the next episode, maybe like CDC or Christopher Dorner. We've almost got all that stuff done already. So
yeah, we do. So one of those two, we'll let you guys know. We'll talk it over and figure out what we want to do. CDC would be good. Christopher Dorner, we do have a lot of stuff on him already. So we'll figure it out.
Yeah. So if this episode sucked, we'll just hold on until next week. We'll be back to our regularly scheduled program. We'll be all better. So
yeah, we will.
So,
we'll be together.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you. Bye.